Welcome back, designers. In today's tutorial, I will be reviewing the multiple choice section of the Adobe Illustrator 2025 certification test with you. I'm going to be using my study guide that I have included for sale on my TPT store. Please check out the direct link that I'm putting in the description bar of this video if you want access to the practice files that I'm using, in addition to video tutorials that go over each step one by one with you. I am not going over the simulation part of the test, which is basically the latter part of the test with different design tasks. So please check the description bar of the video for another video that goes over those tasks a little bit more closely. And I'm also not going over design fundamentals like design principles and copyright in this particular video. I'm just going to focus on different tools and techniques that you guys will need to know in order to ace the multiple choice part of the test. Once again, check out the description bar in the video below, where I will include a link to my TPT store where you guys will be able to access the same study guide in addition to other products that I may have on sale to assist you in passing the certification test. Without further ado, let's get started. One of the questions is going to ask you which tools you should use to create a second artboard with the same dimensions as the current document. So over here you have a very distinct artboard with this AI generated art. So it basically is one long rectangle of a postcard. And I want to create a second artboard that's the exact same size, exact same measurements. To do that, I'm going to use my artboard tool. And after I select my artboard tool, I'm going to go in my properties panel and I'm going to select the plus sign right over here next to the artboard name to create a new artboard. This will automatically create a brand new artboard with the exact same dimensions, as opposed to dragging out an artboard with the artboard tool and then having to figure out the dimensions manually. Another way that you guys can do it, if you guys have the Essentials Classic workspace selected, I'm just going to get rid of this current one using my artboard tool and holding down delete. With the Essentials Classic workspace selected, by the way, you can go and switch between workspaces by clicking on this little icon on the top right-hand corner of the screen and selecting Essentials Classic. That's also on the test. You can also go and do so selecting the Artboard tool and clicking on the plus sign right here in the options bar, which is going to create as many artboards as you need in the exact same dimensions as the first one. So whether you guys are doing it in the properties panel or whether you guys are doing it in the options bar, like I just did, you want to make sure you select the artboard tool first, and then you select the plus sign at the top to create that brand new artboard. Remember to switch between workspaces. You can click on this icon in the top right corner right next to the minimize symbol, and then you can switch between Essentials, Essentials Classic, and any other workspace they might be asking for on the test. I'm going to leave it at Essentials for now, and I'm going to move on to another topic. Speaking of artboards, I'm going to go and create another artboard real quick. So same premise, creating the artboard using the artboard tool, clicking on the plus sign to create another artboard with the same dimensions. And one of the other questions basically asked you how you can ensure that the objects on your document retain their stacking order when you're copying and pasting. You can see my illustration has this text layer, this shark layer, and then this shell layer, all of which are coming from the symbols within Illustrator. And what I want to do is I want to copy and paste the entirety of it onto the second artboard without losing the stacking order. So I want the shark to be in front of the text. I want the shell to be in front of the shark. To do so, I'm going to use my selection tool and I'm going to select all of the illustration. I'm going to right-click, select copy, and then when I go over to my other workspace, I'm going to right-click, select paste in place, and then just drag it over. And when I select paste in place, you guys will see that the stacking order will be preserved. So it's exactly the same order that I had in the first artboard. So again, you select paste in place. Here's another copy, and you can retain the stacking order exactly as you had it. Another question is going to ask you which alignment option will allow you to center all of the shapes on the page. Now there's a few different ways that you guys can center something on the page. You can do so manually or you can use so with the Align panel by going to Window and Align. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to select each of the stars, dragging a marquee to select them using my selection tool. And then within the Align panel, you have several different tools to align the objects. So it depends on whether they're asking you to select horizontal alignment or vertical alignment. There's also alignment left, alignment to the right. It really depends on which option they're asking for. On the test, they're going to ask you to select the center vertical tool. That would be the fifth from the left, which when selected is going to align each of the stars perfectly on the page, creating a perfect row. So again, you can do so by going to Window and Align, open up this alignment panel, and just select the proper tool in order to align each of the shapes as indicated. You're also going to be asked about image files that you may place on Illustrator. Anytime that you place an image file on Illustrator, it's linked to your computer. So that means if I were to delete this file of the oranges from my computer, I would get a message on Illustrator saying that the link needs to be repaired or restored in order for me to move on with my project. Right now, this is a PSD file, so if I make any changes to this exact same file in Photoshop, they're going to show up simultaneously on Illustrator. I know it's a PSD file because I can go to Window and Links, and it shows me that the oranges are linked and it's a PSD file, so a Photoshop file. I have the exact same file open within Photoshop as we speak, and what I'm going to do within Photoshop momentarily is I'm just going to apply maybe a hue and saturation adjustment. I want to colorize the image in bright pink. I'm going to up the saturation and I'm going to save it. So momentarily, when I go back to Illustrator, I'm going to be getting a message saying that the file has changed and that I need to basically repair the link. So right now it's saying that there's an update available. I'm just going to go double click to update it. It's going to tell me some files are missing or modified. Would you like to update them now? I'm going to click yes. And now I can see that all of the changes that I just made in Photoshop are reflected here in Illustrator. So anytime that it asks you to identify which file is going to be updated simultaneously across all programs, you want to look for the file that has a link right here. So it has like a little black circle with a chain link in the middle, and that means that you have an active link that is enabling any photo in Illustrator to be updated automatically across all programs. One new addition to this test was the inclusion of the Color Theme Picker tool, which allows you to recolor any image based on another image in your project. I don't know if I explained myself very well there, but the idea here is that I want to change the colors of this sushi symbol, again with the symbols panel here in Illustrator, from all of these reds and blues to this range of greens that you see in the color scheme to my left. To do so, I can use the Color Theme Picker. I'm just going to select the artwork first. Then I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to select Edit Colors and Recolor Artwork. Open up the Recolor Artwork panel. I can select the Color Theme Picker, which allows me to then sample colors from this scheme on my left. And it's going to basically apply them to the image automatically. So when it asks you which option you should select to recolor your project based on a separate image, you guys are going to select the Color Theme Picker tool, which is going to enable you to pick any color and apply them to the overall illustration very easily. As always, you always have one or two questions having to do with typography, or as someone corrected me recently, typography. Pardon my Miami accent, but basically that's going to ask you what this little red symbol at the bottom of every text box indicates when you see it. Whenever you guys see this little red symbol, it basically means that your text is overset. So some of the text is missing because the text box is too small or the text is too big and you need to resize the text box in order to fit it. So starting off with the heading here, if I just go and expand the text box a little bit to my right, you can see that now the full heading that says Hello Designers has been enabled. If I go and extend this text box all the way to my right as well, you can see how I'm going and showing some of the missing text. You can also go and click on the overset text box like so, and then just place the missing text to any other space within your artboard. And you guys are going to see that it's linked like so. So it doesn't really matter what you guys do with the text as long as you guys can recognize what this means. So anytime we see that little red box, that means your text is overset or missing, and it needs to be corrected before you export your document. Speaking of exporting files, you're going to be asked which file type will preserve your document's formatting and enable you to set a password to view it. The easy answer is PDF here. So PDF will enable you not only to preserve the formatting, so preserve the formatting of this elongated rectangle with the text and the AI generated art, but also allow you to set a password to control who's able to view the file and who's unable to view it. To do so, you can go to File, Export, Export As. We're going to save it as Adobe PDF. I'm going to give it a separate title. I'm going to call this V2. I'm going to click Export. And I want to make sure that before I click Export PDF, I click where it says Security, and I apply a password to open the document. So I'm going to make it super simple. I'm going to make this 123 my password. And then I'm going to click Export PDF, confirm the password again, and momentarily I'm going to verify that it worked. So you can see I'm trying to open the file now. It's asking me for a password. I'm going to input 123, click to open file, and all of the formatting was saved beautifully so that I am now able to view the document and share it with whomever else has the password. As always, I hope this short tutorial was useful to you. Please check out my Teachers Pay Teacher store in the description bar of this video. If you guys want to check out some of the recent study guides and bundles that I have presently on sale for Teacher Appreciation Week. And let me know in the comments if there's any other content that you want to see from me in the next few months as I go into summer break. Until next time, peace out.